Dreamworks has a whole lot of surprisingly powerful characters. I mean, it's home to Captain Underpants, Metro Man, and all of Kung Fu Panda and How to Train Your Dragon. There are some serious heavy hitters in there. And today, we're going to take a look at pretty much all these guys, ranking them all from weakest to strongest. So let's get to it. Hammy is usually just a hyperactive squirrel, but once he drinks caffeine, dude, he taps into some Flash level speed. Like, I'm not even kidding, he's easily going faster than the speed of light, to the point where lasers move in slow motion. He's even able to perceive the rotation of the Earth as just frozen in place. However, he's not really a fighter. The most that he'll do is just set up traps around. And all this is only if he has caffeine. Outside of that, like we said, he's just a hyperactive squirrel. A member of the Furious Five, Crane has mastered the Crane style of Kung Fu. He's not the chief fighter among the group, he usually just flies around and scouts out the area, but he is still an amazing fighter. A lot of his fighting style is based around his ability to fly. He's also always ready to fly in and help his teammates out if they get into trouble. Master Viper is a member of the Furious Five and the master of the Viper style of Kung Fu. She's the daughter of Great Master Viper, who was originally disowned because she was born without fangs. However, Viper's proven that she's more than just her fangs. She's one of the best fighters in the world, and actually easily outclasses her dad. She's lightning fast, incredibly agile, and usually ends up coiled around her opponents and causing them to injure themselves. Shrek started out as just an ogre who wanted to be left alone in his swamp. But he eventually softened, his layers peeled back like an onion, and he became a true family man. Regardless, the dude is incredibly strong and powerful. He's able to pretty easily overpower anyone that comes near him. He's even able to take on a whole group of armored knights. He can actually lift at least a few tons, and is tough enough to take almost any attack, even some pretty devastating attacks, no problem. Toothiena is the Tooth Fairy and the guardian of memories. She's obviously able to fly around and can actually even fight with her wings. And Toothiena can even create mini fairies, or basically copies of herself, to go out there in the world and collect teeth from all the children. And if she needs to, well, she can unleash her minions and fight with her mini tooth fairies too. Mantis is another part of the Furious Five and the master of the Mantis style of Kung Fu. He definitely looks like he's at a disadvantage because of his size, but Mantis has proven time and time again that size isn't everything. It also doesn't hurt that Mantis is disproportionately strong. He's able to throw Po around. He's also a master of nerve strikes and pressure points, being able to instantly take down opponents. Monkey is the master of the monkey style, having been trained by both Master Shifu and Master Oogway. He's an unpredictable fighter, incredibly fast and acrobatic, and a lot of his attacks actually involve just pantsing his opponents until they quit out of embarrassment. Easter Bunnymund is the Easter Bunny and the guardian of hope. While he is the Easter Bunny, he's actually a puka, a philosophical warrior rabbit, and used to live in a village with the other pukas on his home world before they were wiped out, leaving him as the only survivor. That's how he made his way to Earth. He's a fast and skilled warrior. He's especially an expert with his boomerangs, and the Easter Bunny also has the ability to pretty much instantly teleport. He can open up holes in the ground underneath him, which allows him to instantly move from one spot to the next. Lord Shen is the heir to the royal peacock family, the heir to the Gungman throne, and the inventor of one of the greatest weapons in the Valley of Peace, cannons, a weapon of mass destruction. Sure, Shen is an amazing fighter too. He was able to hold his own against two Kung Fu masters at once, but it's really his weapons and his army that makes Lord Shen such a completely dangerous threat. Puss in Boots is a fearless hero and one of the best sword fighters that you'll ever see. Yeah, he might just be a cat, But Puss is pretty much unbeatable with a sword in his hand. He's able to fight against anyone and usually beats them. He's even squared off against death itself before and not backed down to the challenge. Master Tigress is the master of the tiger style of Kung Fu, who was being groomed to be the dragon warrior, until Po was chosen instead. Her fighting style is powerful and aggressive, but she's also incredibly acrobatic and agile in a fight too. She's easily the most skilled and most well-trained out of the Furious Five, making her one of the greatest warriors in the Valley of Peace. Nicholas St. North, or Santa Claus, is the Guardian of Wonder and the leader of the Guardians. He's a strong and powerful man. How else is he going to be able to deliver all the toys on Christmas Eve? And is considered to be the best swordsman in the world. In fact, it was once said that he once defeated an entire regiment of cavalry with a bent steak knife while he was eating. Susan was originally just an ordinary woman from Modesto, California, but on her wedding day, she was hit by a meteorite filled with plutonium, which made her grow to a height of 49 feet and 11 inches. And from there, she became the hero Ginormica. And you can kinda guess that she's incredibly strong, tough, and powerful. Being nearly 50 feet tall will definitely do that. In fact, Ginormica can pretty much wreck through cities no problem. At the very least, she can casually destroy buildings in her way. While her real name might be Elizabeth, we all know her as Dragon. She was originally just meant to guard Fiona in her trapped tower, but then she met Donkey, and from there it was game over. Like any dragon out there, Dragon is incredibly strong and powerful. She was able to easily overpower Shrek, and she's eaten pretty much every knight that's tried to attack the tower. She can fly, and she's got some pretty serious fire breath. It's actually probably her best ability here. As the manifestation of winter, Jack Frost is capable of manipulating ice and snow. He's always been the spirit of mischief and chaos personified, but when he discovered the true purpose behind his powers, he became the guardian of fun. As the spirit of winter, Jack can summon snow, ice, frost. He's even able to unleash energy bolts of ice or instantly freeze things solid with just a wave of his hand. It's his job to make sure that kids have fun, which actually will in turn increase their belief in the Guardians, which will in turn make the Guardians even more powerful. The penguins of Madagascar, Skipper, Kowalski, Rico, and Private, were on a mission to escape from the zoo and make their way back home to Antarctica. They have plenty of crazy adventures along the way. All of them are excellent fighters. They're masters at stealth and secrecy, and they work perfectly as a team when they need to. But the biggest ones here are Kowalski. He can dang near create anything that he wants to, even to the point of coming up with a time machine. And then there's Rico, the most unpredictable wildcard there is, who's housing a gigaton nuclear bomb inside of his stomach. The last survivor of a dying planet, Megamind was sent off from his homeworld into space. He landed in a prison on Earth, where he would of course grow up to become a criminal. Megamind would then clash with the famous hero Metro Man, with the rivalry going on for decades. While Megamind might not have any powers or abilities, he is a super genius, and so he's created some ridiculous and ridiculously powerful weapons over the years, like his dehydration gun or even his death ray, which unleashes a beam of the concentrated power of the sun. Trained by Master Shifu, Tai Lung was brought up with the intent of becoming the new Dragon Warrior, but when Oogway denied him this role, Tai Lung went a little crazy and became one of the greatest kung fu villains of all time. He's an intimidating fighter who has absolutely no problem going all out in any fight he's in. He's a master of the leopard style, focusing on his incredible upper body strength to overpower opponents. On top of his strength, He has incredible speed and agility, plus he's a master of every kung fu style. He's more than a match for anyone who comes his way. Insectosaurus was originally just a 1-inch grub before she was transformed by radiation into a 300-foot tall monster that attacked Tokyo. She's absolutely massive. She can even casually dwarf Ginormica and is a threat to wreck whole cities just by walking through them. Fairy Godmother was a fairy that had built a business all centered around granting people their greatest wishes, but in actuality, she was just scamming them. And as the Fairy Godmother, and with all that magic, well, she can do dang near anything. Any magic spell that she wants, any potion that she can make, she can do it. And that's how she's able to grant all these wishes or do whatever she wants. Only thing is, she's actually susceptible to magic too. She can actually be taken out by her own magic. The Light Fury moves as fast as a Night Fury and shares their ability to blend into the sky, even during daylight hours. In fact, with her white color, the Light Fury hides seamlessly in clouds, sea fog, and distant horizons. On top of that, they're able to temporarily transform each scale to a reflective surface that mirrors their surroundings, essentially making her invisible. Although skittish and a bit skeptical, the Light Fury shares Toothless's deep sense of empathy and will always wield her Plasma Blast to defend anyone in need. Secretly responsible for centuries of human and dragon conflict, the Red Death used its commanding presence to order other dragons to raid nearby villages and bring a constant supply of food. From its lair deep within the core of a volcano, this Titan Wing reigned supreme, until Toothless led Stoic, Gobber, and the other Berk Vikings to the shores of Dragon Island. The Red Death was so engorged on power that by this time, it had to shatter its mountain home in order to get out and fight the intruders. Fortunately, the arrival of Berk's Dragon Riders and the fateful reunion of Hiccup and Toothless led to the discovery of the Red Death's only vulnerable spot, its insides. Similar to the Bewilderbeast ability to bend other dragons to its will, the Red Death emitted a homing signal, which summoned other dragons to its lava nest. Benny Krupp is the meanest, sourest elementary school teacher you'll ever meet. He hates kids, he hates fun, and he especially hates his troublemaking students Harold and George. However, one day, Harold and George used a special hypno ring to hypnotize their teacher into thinking that he's the superhero Captain Underpants, out there ready to fight evil. The problem is that Captain Underpants is still just a bald, overweight guy with no superpowers, so they end up having to follow him around, making sure that he doesn't get hurt. That is, till he ends up getting his hands on some alien juice that gives him real superpowers. Now he's really a superhero, powerful enough to throw around massive robots and wreck buildings in the process. General Kai was originally the general of China's army, leading it alongside his brother-in-arms, Master Oogway. However, Kai began to steal the chi of other fighters, in order to become more powerful himself, forcing Oogway to banish him to the spirit realm. But now he's back and back with a vengeance. Kai was an extremely powerful warrior, and easily one of the strongest warriors known to have ever walked China. In fact, Kai's skill as a warrior earned him the title of Warlord, and he was able to fight against Master Oogway, the most powerful kung fu master in history, in a battle so intense that it shook the earth. 500 years later, Kai had become even more powerful, as he was able to make short work of all the kung fu masters in China, defeat Master Shifu. He's beaten the Furious Five, he's pretty much beat Po, until Po was finally able to master his chi power himself. Sanderson Mansnuzia is the Sandman, the mythic bringer of dreams and the first ever guardian, the guardian of dreams. With the Dream Sand, well, Sandman is an absolute menace in a fight, and creates all sorts of living whips to take down enemies. He's able to control the dreams of everyone on Earth. All the dreams that he creates are good and pleasant, and Sandy can make anyone fall asleep by exposing them to his sand, even his fellow guardians. Grandmaster Oogway is one of the greatest Kung Fu masters who's ever lived. He actually is the one who invented Kung Fu in the first place. And as he was the one who founded Kung Fu, Oogway didn't need to have a signature technique or fighting style, as he had completely mastered all Kung Fu techniques in existence, even techniques other masters had never even heard of. He's beaten pretty much every other Kung Fu Panda character on this list. Tai Lung, General Kai, no one could stand in his way. Not one. As with all members of the animal kingdom, dragons too must follow a hierarchy of power and leadership. And at the apex of that chain of command rules an exceedingly rare alpha dragon, to which all the others have to bow, the Bewilderbeast. However, Bewilderbeasts are not born to that alpha status. Instead, it's earned through combat, and most importantly, a desire to protect the dragons and all the other creatures in its nest. Fortunately for Bewilderbeast, there are few other dragons in the world that can match their intimidating stature and ever hope to compete for the designation of King of all Dragons. In How to Train Your Dragon, the Night Fury was once considered to be one of the most mysterious and fearsome species of dragon. In fact, until Hiccup befriended Toothless, no one even knew if a Night Fury actually existed. But Toothless was quickly able to show that he was in fact real and really, really powerful. He was known as the unholy offspring of lightning and death itself, has routinely proven himself to be the alpha of all alpha dragons, squaring off against plenty of mighty dragons and always beating them. Pitch Black, the Nightmare King, is the Boogeyman, the mythical creature that haunts the closets and dark corners of childhood nightmares. Pitch Black has complete and total control over shadows and darkness. He can literally become shadows and not even be touched. He's also got complete control over fear and nightmares. He can create physical manifestations of fears, and actually feeds on all the fear around him. And just like Sandman's Dream Sand, Pitch Black has its own version of the sand, where he can trap people in never-ending nightmares. While he definitely started out as just a big, lovable panda, Po has managed to persevere and fulfill the destiny of the Dragon Warrior by defeating Tai Lung and opening the Dragon Scroll, proving to everyone, including himself, that he's really a hero. Po's the creator of the Panda style of Kung Fu, which basically means that he likes to improvise a lot during a fight and throw his body weight around. But he's beaten pretty much every other Kung Fu master he's come across. He's mastered inner peace. He's even mastered his chi power, becoming a spirit warrior and the most powerful spirit warrior in the history of all Kung Fu. Rumpelstiltskin is a shady dealmaker who wanted to take revenge on Shrek after Shrek inadvertently foiled his plans by saving Princess Fiona. Rumpelstiltskin actually has no magical powers himself, but he does have a whole lot of magic contracts that he gets people to sign. These contracts are able to actually warp the universe itself based on the details of the contract, to the point where he can pretty much create an alternate reality of every deal that he makes. Like when he tricked Shrek into signing a deal that took away the day that he was born, allowing Rumpel to actually end up on the throne of the kingdom of Far, Far Away. After Metro Man left, Megamind felt that he had to have a new hero to fight against, so he literally created one, Hal Stewart was just Roxanne Ritchie's dorky cameraman. But he transformed when Megamind gave him an infusion of Metro Man's DNA. He has all the powers and abilities of Metro Man, except Titan actually turned out to be a destructive and evil supervillain himself, forcing Megamind into actually becoming the good guy. Titan is strong enough to lift skyscrapers, he can fly and create sonic booms as he goes, and he's so tough that a lot of the attacks that come his way don't even faze him. The other last survivor of a dying alien race from the Glaupunk Quadrant, Metro Man grew up to be everything that Megamind was not. Revered, incredible powers, raised in a wealthy adopted family, possessing good looks, and eventually coming to be a symbol of truth and justice. However, as the years went by, he and Megamind settled into a shtick that became all too familiar to him. It actually led to Metro Man going through an identity crisis and leaving his predetermined role as a hero. Metro Man is more powerful than Titan, to the point where Titan will actually run in fear from seeing him. So we can assume that everything Titan can do, Metro Man can do even more so. He's basically Superman in this universe. But the biggest thing is his speed. He can move way faster than the speed of light. In just a single frame on a video, Metro Man was basically able to live out an entire day with time slowed down from his perspective. Death is death, straight up. He decided to start hunting down Puss in Boots in order to take his 9th final life, all because Puss mocked him by wasting his first 8 lives. However, when Puss shows that he's changed, well, Death chose to stand down, leaving Puss in Boots with the promise that they'll still meet again one day. Death is incredibly terrifying in everything that he does. He's ridiculously strong, very tough, one of the greatest warriors and fighters in the universe. He was able to beat Puss regularly, with complete ease. And again, Death is literally death. No debate needed here. But for the most powerful of all the Dreamworks characters, well, we gotta go back to the beginning, the Prince of Egypt, the movie that has God himself. Literally God, the creator of the universe, Yahweh, capital G, God. Yeah, he's clearly topped this list, no question. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're gonna see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.